The sun was beginning to set as the rescue team trudged through the thick forest. Sweat dripped down their faces, mixing with the grime from their long search. The scent of damp earth filled the air, and the quiet whispers of the forest seemed to mock their struggle. The team had been out for hours, searching for any trace of the lost child, a baby who had wandered off 3 days ago. But what they were about to find would change everything. At first they thought it was just another animal, a stray dog perhaps. But as they ventured deeper into the woods, something stopped them. There, in a small clearing, they saw a large dog standing perfectly still, its eyes fixed on them. It wasn't moving, it was guarding something. As they approached cautiously, they saw what it was. Wrapped in a thin blanket lying in the dirt was a baby. The dog, Max, as they would later discover, had been protecting the child for 3 days without food or water. His fur was matted with dirt and his body was thin, but his eyes were filled with something the rescue team couldn't quite place. Loyalty, courage, something else? The baby was crying softly, its tiny hands reaching out toward the strangers. But Max didn't let anyone come too close without a warning growl, his protective instincts in full force. This was no ordinary dog. "Let me through," one of the paramedics, Sarah said, stepping forward slowly. She had a soft voice, one that could calm even the most agitated animal. But Max wasn't having it. He stood firm, guarding his post with unwavering resolve. "Max, it's okay," Sarah murmured, kneeling down a few feet from him. "We're here to help." Max's eyes softened for a moment, and after what felt like an eternity, he stepped aside just enough for Sarah to move forward. She gently cradled the baby, checking for injuries. Miraculously, the child was unharmed. No bruises, no scratches. Just a little cold and hungry. As they carefully wrapped the baby in a warm blanket, the team couldn't help but wonder, why had Max stayed by the baby's side for so long? What had kept him from running off in search of food or water? And why had he not let anyone get close until now? That night, as they returned to the base camp, Sarah sat by the fire, holding the baby close. She couldn't stop thinking about Max, the dog who had stayed behind, guarding the baby like it was his own. The next day, the mystery began to unfold. Max wasn't just any stray. He was a trained search and rescue dog, once part of a K9 unit. He had been separated from his handler, Daniel, 2 years ago during a failed operation. The team learned that after the loss of his handler, Max had gone rogue, roaming the forests and mountains. No one had known where he went, and he had been presumed dead. But now here he was, guarding a baby in the middle of nowhere. The rescue team contacted Daniel, and when he arrived at the site, his emotions were a whirlwind. Max didn't recognize him at first, but as Daniel called his name, Max's tail began to wag slowly. It was as though the dog was realizing he had found a piece of his past, something he had been searching for all along. But what was the connection between Max and the baby? How had he ended up with the child in the first place? The truth would soon be revealed, and it was a truth that would leave everyone speechless. It turned out the baby, named Emma, had been abandoned in the forest after her parents were involved in a car accident. The paramedics who had rescued the child were able to confirm that she had been alone for 3 days, but not truly alone. Max had found her, protected her, and kept her alive through his unwavering devotion. The twist? The parents of the baby were none other than the very same family who had adopted Max years ago. Max had not just stumbled upon Emma by chance. He had recognized her scent, the same scent of the family he had once served. The bond was deeper than anyone could have imagined. Max had been guarding Emma because, in his heart, she was still his family. As Daniel sat with Max, watching him nuzzle against Emma, he realized something profound. Max had never truly left his family. He had always been searching for them, just as they had been searching for him. This was not just a rescue operation, it was a reunion. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.